Hello everyone, I am Mohammad Talha and today we are going to start a brand new series on object-oriented programming using Python. But before diving deep into OOP, we have to understand a basic concepts related to classes and objects. We have to understand that what is a class and what is an object. But before even understanding this, we have to familiarize with a couple of different terminologies that will help us along the way. So the very first terminology that we have to understand is class itself. So we can just to understand that what is class, we can refer it as a blueprint or a design. Now moving forward in this series, I will explain that why we call this class as blueprint or design, but for now let's just go with the flow, right? Now similarly, we have something called object, and to understand that what is an object, we can refer to it as a real world entity. Now this entity can be anything. It can be a laptop, mobile device, food, a piece of clothing, or a human itself even. Now previously in procedural programming, we have been using something called functions to perform certain tasks, right? Now the same functions when written inside a class are known as methods, and we use those methods to perform different tasks. Now when we talk about objects, we have two things that define those objects. The first one is called attributes and the second one is called behaviors. Now when we talk about attributes, these attributes are called properties. We can also refer it as a data that will define an object. It can be name of a person, it can be height of a person, it can be RAM of a laptop or a hard disk drive of a laptop. And the second one is behavior. Now behaviors are something we can refer to as actions or work. So we define our objects using attributes, and based on those attributes our objects do something. Now that function is called behavior. So let's just go ahead and use a couple of different examples to understand that what is an object. Now even in our daily life we use objects to perform different tasks, right? For example, if I want to record a video, I'm gonna need a couple of things like camera or video editor at least. Now these both things are called objects. For example, if I want to eat something, then I'm gonna need some utensils for it. For example, I'm gonna need a plate, spoon and glass, and all of these things are objects, right? Now we use these objects to perform certain tasks. We use a camera to record a video, and recording a video is something that we can call a behavior. We can use a glass to drink. Now that glass will be used to store some water, so that can be an action or something that is called behavior for this object. Let's build up a better understanding of an object, right? For example, here we have this a very funny looking cartoon character called Jerry from Tom and Jerry. Now this is something that I can call an object. Now this object have two things. The first one is attribute and the second one is behavior. Now the attributes is something that will define this object. For example, we can give a name to this character. For example, we can call it Jerry, and we can also define its height. Now we will give this data to this object using variables. So we can also say that these attributes are called variables. Now based on these variables and based on this data, this Jerry will do something. For example, it will laugh, it will run, it will jump, or it will do something else. Now that action is called behavior, and to perform that behavior, to do that behavior, we will use something called methods, and those methods are simply nothing else but functions. Moving forward, whenever we talk about objects, we also talk about class. But why class? I mean, as far as object is concerned, we have built a little bit of concept that what is object and why do we need it. But why class? So let's take another example of an object here. In this case, we have an object called laptop. For example, this laptop is made up by Samsung, and this is a new laptop that just had been released in the market, right? Now there will be millions and billions of different laptops of the same model in the market, but all of those laptops will be based on a single design. So we use a single design to create multiple objects. So just like that, in a software world, we also use a design that is called a class to generate multiple objects to perform multiple tasks. So I hope by now you have a little bit of concept that what is class and what is object and why do we need class and objects. We will create a structure and a design of a software, and then we will create objects or instances of that class to perform several tasks. Now in the coming tutorials, it will be completely clear what I mean by creating multiple objects to perform different tasks. So just stay tuned and don't forget to see the coming tutorials.